Amelia Hart never planned on colliding with destiny. She just wanted a quiet Saturday afternoon, some free gallery wine, and maybe, just maybe, a little inspiration for her next article. Instead, she ended up sprawled across a marble floor, a shoe missing, her tote bag spewing notebooks and crumpled receipts like confetti. And above her, a pair of almond brown eyes blinked down in quiet disbelief. "Are you dead?" the woman asked, her voice smooth, low, and carrying just the tiniest hint of French cadence. Amelia groaned. "Not yet. But give me a second. My pride's mortally wounded." The woman extended a perfectly manicured hand. Amelia grasped it, intending to regain her balance with dignity, but instead yanked the stranger forward. They both stumbled, nearly toppling a very expensive-looking sculpture. Amelia hissed. "Please tell me that's glued down." "It is not," the woman replied dryly, steadying the sculpture with one hand while holding Amelia upright with the other. "And if you break it, I will have to sell your organs to pay for it." Amelia blinked. "I don't know whether you're joking or terrifying me." "Why not both?" The woman's smile was faint but deliberate, like she had practiced it in the mirror and reserved it for special occasions. Amelia, against her better judgment, found her chest fluttering in a way that was deeply inconvenient. "Thanks," Amelia muttered, brushing dust off her jeans. "And sorry. I was distracted by, well, the art." "Definitely the art. Not the free wine." The stranger tilted her head, assessing her. The gallery lighting caught on the elegant lines of her face, casting sharp shadows that made her look like she belonged on one of the canvases instead of managing them. "You're not the usual crowd," the woman said. "Oh, what's the usual crowd?" "Pretentious people quoting French philosophers they never read." "Precisely." Her lips curved again, almost amused. "And yet here you are, quoting no philosophers at all. Refreshing." Amelia tried not to grin too widely. Sarcasm was her native language, but she wasn't used to people volleying it back so smoothly. "So, do you work here or are you just paid to stand around looking mysterious and vaguely judgmental?" A pause. The woman's smile didn't falter, but something behind her eyes flickered like shutters snapping closed. "I own this gallery." Amelia's stomach dropped. "Oh. Oh no. That means I just crashed into my hostess. Please forget everything I said in the last 30 seconds. "Impossible," the woman replied. "You are memorable." Amelia had no idea what to do with that statement, so she defaulted to babbling. "Well, I'm Amelia. Amelia Hart. Freelance journalist, occasional chaos generator, professional coffee addict." "And you are?" "Clara Duval," the woman said simply. "And you should consider slowing down when turning corners." "Duly noted." Amelia glanced around at the painting's bold, abstract pieces that seemed to pulse under the lighting. "This place is beautiful. Intimidating, but beautiful." Clara's gaze softened, just for a second. "Thank you. It's personal." Before Amelia could ask what that meant, a booming voice interrupted. "Millie. There you are." Ethan Rowe, Amelia's best friend, fashionably late and obnoxiously overdressed, strode into the gallery like it was his runway. His velvet blazer shimmered under the lights as he clasped Amelia's shoulders. "Sweetheart, I leave you alone for 5 minutes and you've already caused property damage," Ethan said, then noticed Clara. His eyes widened. "Oh. Oh, hello. Who's this goddess?" Clara arched an eyebrow. "Your friend has a dramatic flair." "You have no idea," Amelia muttered, shoving Ethan's hand off her. Clara, this is Ethan. Ethan, this is Clara Duval, the owner. Ethan leaned closer to whisper not quietly enough, she's gorgeous. Like femme fatale gorgeous. Are you sure she's not secretly a jewel thief? Clara's lips twitched, but she didn't comment. Instead, she gestured gracefully toward the paintings. Enjoy the exhibit. And try not to endanger any more sculptures. With that, she glided away, leaving Amelia slightly breathless. Ethan smirked. You've got that look. What look? Amelia asked defensively. The one where you're already writing poetry in your head about someone's cheekbones. I do not, Amelia began, but then tripped over her missing shoe and nearly face-planted again. Ethan caught her arm. Millie, darling, you're doomed. Amelia tried to laugh it off, but her gaze drifted to Clara across the gallery. She was speaking with a couple in hushed tones, her hands folded with elegant restraint. Something about her posture was guarded. Like every smile was deliberate, every word calculated. Mystery clung to her like perfume. And Amelia's heart, against all common sense, was already itching to find out why. Amelia hadn't meant to return to the gallery the very next evening. She told herself it was purely professional curiosity. Clara Duval was interesting, enigmatic, and maybe even article-worthy. That's what she kept repeating while reapplying lipstick in the reflection of her cracked phone screen. Not because she wanted to see Clara again. Definitely not. Ethan, lounging on her couch and scrolling through his phone, was unconvinced. You're dressing up for a gallery. At this rate, you'll be drafting your wedding vows by Wednesday. It's not a date, Amelia insisted, tugging on her jacket. It's an event. Clara invited me. Exactly. Invitations are just dates wearing fancier clothes. Ethan smirked. Tell me again how you accidentally gave her your number. Amelia groaned. She asked for it, okay, after you left. Something about sending me details for tonight. Right. And then she sent a message that said, and I quote, I hope to see you there. Wear something bold. Ethan arched his brows. Sweetheart, she's flirting. Mysteriously, but still flirting. Amelia ignored him and left before he could say more. The gallery looked different at night. The usual buzz of casual art-goers was gone, replaced by a small, curated crowd in cocktail dresses and tailored suits. The lighting was lower, softer, like secrets tucked into shadows. Amelia suddenly felt underdressed in her leather jacket and boots. And then Clara appeared. She glided across the floor in a black satin dress that looked like it belonged in another century. Her hair was swept back, revealing the sharp line of her jaw. The crowd seemed to bend subtly around her presence, like gravity itself was drawn to her. You came, Clara said, her smile subtle but unmistakably pleased. Of course, Amelia replied, trying to sound casual and failing. I mean, you invited me. And I never turned down free wine. Clara's laugh was quiet, almost private, as though she didn't want to share it with the rest of the room. Good. I enjoy unpredictable company. Before Amelia could decode that, Clara gently touched her arm. Come. There's something I want you to see. They wove through the crowd toward a corner of the gallery. Clara led her to a painting unlike the others, a storm of deep crimson and ash-gray swirls, the texture thick and almost violent. This one isn't part of the public collection, Clara said softly. I'm showing it only tonight. Amelia tilted her head, studying it. The canvas practically hummed with restless energy. It's beautiful. And a little terrifying. Clara's gaze lingered on the painting longer than Amelia expected. Yes. Terrifying can be beautiful. Something flickered in Clara's eyes again, that guarded, shuttered look Amelia had seen yesterday. A story untold, pressed into silence. Before Amelia could ask, a crash echoed across the room. Gasps rose from the crowd. They turned. One of the paintings on display, a serene landscape, was gone. The frame hung empty, its glass shattered on the floor. The crowd rippled with confusion, whispers spreading like wildfire. Amelia blinked. Wait, did someone just steal a painting in front of everyone? Clara's expression was unreadable. Her face smoothed into calm, almost rehearsed composure. She turned to Amelia, voice low. Stay here. And then she slipped away into the crowd, moving with unnerving precision, like a shadow melting between bodies. Amelia stood frozen. The sensible part of her brain screamed, leave. Go home. This is a crime scene. But the other part, the reckless, insatiably curious part, whispered louder, follow her. Amelia took one hesitant step forward. And then another. Because she wasn't sure if Clara Duval was the victim of a theft, or if she had just orchestrated the whole thing. Either way, Amelia had to know. Amelia moved through the gallery like a detective in an amateur noir film, her heart pounding and her leather boots clicking softly on the polished floor. The crowd seemed oblivious to her silent chase, laughing, talking, swirling around like dancers in a carefully choreographed play, though to Amelia, the whole scene felt chaotic, like a storm barely contained. Clara was nowhere in sight. But Amelia's instincts, honed by years of chasing stories, told her she was close. She rounded a corner and spotted a narrow hallway partially hidden behind a velvet curtain. A sliver of movement caught her eye. That must be it, she whispered to herself. She stepped into the hallway, careful not to make a sound, and found Clara leaning over a small, ornate table, examining something that glimmered in the low light. The object was small, metallic, and shaped like a key, but not an ordinary key. Its edges were intricate, almost impossibly delicate, and it seemed to hum faintly when Clara held it. Amelia's voice came out softer than intended, and Clara startled, spinning around. Her expression softened the instant she recognized Amelia. You followed me? Amelia shrugged, trying to act casual, which was laughably impossible. Curiosity. Purely professional. I mean, it's a mystery, isn't it? Clara studied her for a long moment, as if weighing the truth in her words. Finally, she nodded, a slow, deliberate motion. Yes. And you have a knack for it. Amelia felt heat rise to her cheeks, partly from embarrassment, partly from the thrill of being acknowledged. She stepped closer, and Clara didn't step back. Instead, she gestured toward the key. This isn't just a key, Clara said, her voice low. It opens something important. Something I can't show to just anyone. Amelia's mind raced. You mean like a secret room, a hidden vault, or something even stranger? Clara interrupted, a faint smile tugging at her lips. You'll see soon enough. Before Amelia could respond, the sound of hurried footsteps echoed from the main gallery. Clara's eyes sharpened. They've noticed, she murmured. You shouldn't be here. Not yet. Amelia frowned. What are you talking about? Clara didn't answer immediately. Instead, she moved with startling swiftness, pulling Amelia behind a tall sculpture, a twisted, abstract form that looked like a frozen scream. From this hiding spot, Amelia could see two figures moving through the gallery, scanning the room as if searching for someone or something. "Are they looking for the key?" Amelia asked. Clara's gaze was unreadable. "Maybe. Or maybe they're looking for me. Either way, we need to be careful." Amelia felt the tension coil in her stomach. Her life had never felt so much like a movie, and she wasn't sure she liked being on the edge of the plot. Yet, she couldn't pull away. Not from Clara. Not from the mystery. Clara leaned closer, her voice almost a whisper. "I trust you, Amelia, but trust is dangerous in this game." Amelia's heart skipped. "Dangerous what game?" Clara's hand brushed Amelia's, fleeting but electric. "The one where secrets are currency, and curiosity can either make you rich, or destroy you." The two of them froze as the footsteps drew closer. Clara pressed a finger to her lips and then tugged Amelia toward a side door, barely noticeable behind a tapestry. The door led to a narrow staircase spiraling down into darkness. "This way," Clara said. "It's safer, for now." Amelia followed, adrenaline surging. Every step seemed to echo unnaturally, each creak of the staircase amplifying the suspense. She wanted to ask questions, so many questions, but Clara's intense gaze silenced her. When they reached the bottom, they entered a room that was stark, almost sterile, with shelves lined with old books, maps, and peculiar artifacts. Candles flickered, casting long shadows across the walls. Clara finally set the key on a table, studying it once more. "This room holds things that people shouldn't see," she said quietly. "But now, you're part of it, whether you like it or not." Amelia swallowed hard, her pulse racing, trying to comprehend the enormity of the moment. I don't even know where to start." Clara turned to her, eyes serious now, but softened with an unspoken trust. "Start with this," she said, lifting a small, leather-bound journal. "Read it. It will explain more than I ever could in words." Amelia reached for the journal, feeling the weight of secrets in her hands. She glanced at Clara, who watched her with an intensity that was equal parts challenge and invitation. And in that moment, Amelia realized she was no longer just a curious journalist or a visitor at a gallery. She was entangled in Clara's world, a world full of mystery, danger, and perhaps something even more powerful. The flickering candlelight painted Clara's face in shadows, and Amelia knew, without a doubt, that nothing would ever be the same again. The candlelight flickered across the small, secret room as Amelia carefully opened the leather-bound journal Clara had handed her. The pages smelled faintly of old ink and something else, something almost metallic, like the memory of blood or rust. Amelia's fingers trembled slightly as she flipped the first page. The handwriting was neat, almost painfully precise, yet the words themselves twisted and turned in ways that made her head spin. Names she didn't recognize, dates that didn't align with any historical record she knew, and cryptic references to events that might have or might not have happened. Amelia blinked. Okay, this is either a diary or some elaborate fan fiction. Clara, standing behind her with arms crossed, raised an eyebrow. It's neither, she said, voice low, carrying that same quiet weight that made Amelia's skin prickle. It's a record of choices, consequences, and the things people want to forget. Choices and consequences, Amelia murmured, as if tasting the words. Sounds dramatic. Clara smirked. Life is dramatic when you peek behind the curtain. Amelia turned another page, and her eyes widened. A diagram, complicated and strange, sprawled across the paper. Lines and symbols intersected in ways that didn't make sense at first, but she could tell they were deliberate. Some kind of map, or a code, perhaps both. "What is this?" she asked. Clara leaned closer, voice barely a whisper. "This is the blueprint of what I've been trying to protect. Not all secrets are harmless." Amelia's curiosity sparked, the same thrill she felt when first following a lead as a reporter. "Protect from whom?" Clara's gaze hardened for a moment, and then softened again, like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. "From people who would misuse it. From people who don't understand. From mistakes that should never be repeated." A sudden noise from above made both of them freeze. Footsteps, muffled but deliberate, approached the hidden staircase. "They're still here," Clara whispered, taking Amelia's hand. "And they're cleverer than I expected." Amelia's pulse quickened. "Cleverer than you? You seem pretty clever yourself." Clara smiled faintly, a flash of humor breaking the tension. "Flattery won't save you down here, Amelia. But I admit, I'm intrigued by your persistence." The footsteps drew nearer. Clara guided Amelia to a tall shelf lined with books, subtly pressing a hidden latch. The shelf swung open silently, revealing a narrow passageway behind it. Amelia stepped in, heart hammering, her mind spinning. "Why are we sneaking through bookshelves now?" she whispered, trying not to laugh. "Because the obvious paths are dangerous," Clara replied, eyes sharp. "This way, we control what they see and don't see." They moved cautiously through the shadowy corridor, the air growing cooler and heavier with every step. Amelia's mind raced, trying to piece together the fragments of information she had: the mysterious key, the cryptic journal, the vanishing painting, and Clara's enigmatic presence. "Amelia." Clara's voice softened as they reached a small landing. "I need to ask you something. A question you may not like the answer to." Amelia's stomach twisted. "Shoot." Clara hesitated, then met her eyes directly. "Do you trust me?" Amelia blinked, taken aback. "Trust you after a chase through hidden hallways and secret keys and, whatever this is that's, fast." Clara's lips curved into a half smile. "Trust is a luxury we don't always have. But I need it. At least from you. Right now." Amelia's mind reeled. She had followed Clara into a hidden world she barely understood, but the intensity in Clara's gaze made it impossible to say no. She nodded slowly. "Okay. I trust you. For now." Clara exhaled softly, almost in relief. "Good. Then we proceed carefully. Step by step. Whispers behind closed doors. That's the only way to survive this, and perhaps, to understand it." Amelia swallowed, aware that the words carried weight far beyond their surface. "And if we fail?" Clara's hand found hers, squeezing gently. "Then we face the consequences together. But I have a feeling, we won't fail." They pressed on, deeper into the hidden corridors of the gallery, shadows stretching and twisting around them like living things. Amelia felt the thrill of danger, the tingle of excitement, and an undeniable pull toward Clara closer than she'd ever imagined. Every whispered secret, every hidden door, every shadow they navigated together drew them nearer, in ways Amelia couldn't fully articulate. And as the candlelight from the room above flickered faintly, Amelia realized that whatever lay ahead, she was no longer just an observer. She was a participant. And there was no turning back. The hidden corridor felt like a labyrinth of shadows, each step echoing softly, yet carrying the weight of secrets waiting to be unveiled. Amelia's heartbeat raced, a mix of excitement and apprehension. She glanced at Clara, whose face was a mask of calm determination, though Amelia could sense the tension beneath the surface. "This way," Clara whispered, leading her down a spiral staircase that seemed to descend endlessly into the building's hidden underbelly. The walls were cold stone, damp with age, and the faint smell of dust and forgotten memories hung in the air. Amelia swallowed, trying to steady her nerves. "How did you even find this place?" she asked, genuinely curious. Clara gave a small, almost embarrassed shrug. "Let's just say, I've spent enough time here to know its secrets better than anyone else. Some doors are meant to be found only by those who look hard enough." Amelia chuckled nervously. "And some doors are meant to change your life, I suppose." Clara's lips curved into a fleeting smile. "You could say that." They reached a landing where the narrow corridor opened into a larger chamber. The room was dimly lit, filled with odd artifacts, paintings with eyes that seemed to follow you, stacks of papers with sketches of impossible machines, and shelves of books with titles Amelia didn't recognize. In the center stood a pedestal, and on it rested a small ornate box, the very thing Clara had been guarding. "That," Clara said softly, "is what I've been protecting all this time. The key to the hidden truth." Amelia approached cautiously, her fingers itching to touch it. "It looks small. But somehow, I can feel its weight." Clara nodded. "It's not the size that matters, Amelia. It's what it can unlock. The answers to questions people don't even know they have." Amelia glanced at Clara, then back at the box. The intricate carvings on its surface seemed to shift subtly in the flickering light, almost alive. She hesitated, feeling the gravity of the moment. "You're the one who has to open it," Clara said quietly. "Not me. Not anyone else. It has to be you." Amelia raised an eyebrow. "Me? Why me?" "Because," Clara replied, her voice firm yet tender, "I trust you. And because some truths are meant to be faced together, but discovered individually. You have to be willing to confront whatever lies inside, even if it changes everything." Amelia took a deep breath and placed her hands on the box. A faint warmth pulsed through her fingers, as if the object recognized her touch. She slowly lifted the lid. Inside, nestled in velvet, was another key, smaller, delicate, and unlike anything she had ever seen. "It's beautiful," Amelia whispered. Clara stepped closer, eyes gleaming. "It's more than beautiful. It's dangerous. And yet, necessary." Amelia examined the key, noticing the intricate patterns etched along its shaft. Each symbol seemed to tell a story, a narrative she couldn't yet understand but felt compelled to follow. "Where does it go?" she asked. Clara hesitated, then gestured to a painting on the far wall. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary portrait of a woman in a long gown, but there was something unsettling about her eyes, something familiar, yet not quite. "That painting," Clara said, "hides the entrance to a room that shouldn't exist. The key will guide you, but only if you trust your instincts." Amelia's pulse quickened. "And if I get it wrong?" Clara's gaze softened. "Then we face the consequences. Together. But I have faith in you. And besides..." She leaned slightly closer, a teasing glint in her eye. "I rather enjoy watching you figure things out." Amelia felt heat rise to her cheeks, a mix of embarrassment and thrill. She focused on the painting, studying every detail, the folds of the gown, the subtle brush strokes, the eyes that seemed almost alive. Carefully, she inserted the delicate key into a barely visible slot at the base of the frame. For a moment, nothing happened. Amelia's heart sank slightly. And then a soft click echoed through the chamber, followed by a low rumble. The painting swung forward on hidden hinges, revealing a narrow doorway bathed in soft, golden light. Amelia exhaled sharply. It worked. Clara smiled, a mix of pride and something deeper, something Amelia couldn't quite name. Welcome to the next step. Beyond this door, nothing will ever be the same. Amelia stepped forward, key in hand, feeling the weight of destiny pressing down on her. Shadows and secrets waited on the other side, but so did the thrill of discovery, the spark of danger, and perhaps, a chance at something more than either of them had expected. As the door swung shut behind them, the candle light flickered, casting elongated shadows across the chamber. Amelia and Clara were no longer merely curious intruders, they were participants in a story that had been waiting for them all along. And somewhere, in the quiet heartbeat of the hidden room, the first whispers of revelation stirred, ready to unravel everything they thought they knew. The golden light beyond the hidden door bathed Amelia and Clara in a warm, almost ethereal glow. The narrow passage opened into a chamber that seemed impossibly large, filled with towering shelves, mysterious contraptions, and fragments of memories suspended in midair like floating holograms. Amelia blinked, feeling as though she had stepped into another world entirely. This is incredible," Amelia whispered, her voice barely audible. Clara smiled, eyes sparkling. "Welcome to the Room of Shadows. Everything that ever was or could have been can be found here. But be careful. Not all shadows are friendly." Amelia's curiosity fought with a flutter of apprehension. "Shadows, you mean, like ghosts?" Clara shook her head. "Not exactly. They're remnants of memories, echoes of decisions and moments long past. Some are joyful, some, less so. And some might even reveal truths we're not ready to face." As Amelia stepped further in, a shadow flickered in the corner of her vision. She turned quickly, only to find a holographic image of a younger Clara laughing, her hair falling loosely around her shoulders, carefree and full of life. Amelia felt a pang in her chest. She had never seen Clara like this. "Who's that?" Amelia asked softly. "That's me, or at least who I used to be," Clara replied, her voice tinged with melancholy. "This room shows us our past in ways that can be unsettling." Amelia reached out tentatively, and the shadow seemed to shimmer, reacting to her touch. "It feels real." "Memory has its own kind of reality," Clara said, moving closer. "And sometimes, it's the only way to understand why we are the way we are." As they walked deeper into the room, Amelia noticed shadows interacting, tiny scenes frozen in time, some humorous, others heartbreaking. A shadow of two girls arguing over a spilled cup of tea made her laugh softly, while another of a lonely figure sitting under a tree made her throat tighten. Then, they came across a shadow that made Amelia stop in her tracks. It was a scene of Clara, much younger, handing a small object to someone whose face was obscured. The motion was deliberate, almost ritualistic, and Amelia felt a chill run down her spine. "What is this?" Amelia asked, voice barely above a whisper. Clara's expression darkened. "That is part of why I brought you here. That shadow contains a secret I've kept buried. Something that could change everything." Amelia's hand instinctively found Clara's. "Whatever it is, we'll face it together." Clara's eyes softened, and for a moment, the walls of mystery seemed less imposing. "You really mean that?" "Absolutely," Amelia said firmly. "We've come this far. I'm not backing down now." Clara took a deep breath and guided Amelia to the shadow. As they approached, the scene shifted subtly, revealing the face of the recipient, a girl with striking eyes that mirrored Amelia's own in intensity and curiosity. Amelia froze. I know her. But I can't. How? Clara's hand rested gently on her shoulder. She's someone you've been looking for, though you didn't know it yet. This room, it has a way of revealing connections we overlook, of showing paths that lead to answers we didn't even know we needed. Amelia swallowed hard, feeling a mixture of awe and fear. And the object that, key? Clara nodded. Yes. It's part of a chain, a series of keys hidden throughout time and memory. Each unlocks something crucial, not just in the world, but within ourselves. And that chain leads to the truth behind everything we've been chasing. Amelia's mind spun. So, the adventure isn't over. This is just another piece of the puzzle. Clara smiled faintly. Exactly. But now we know the stakes. And now we know that whatever shadows we face them together. Amelia exhaled, a mixture of relief and anticipation washing over her. Then let us keep moving. I'm ready for whatever comes next. As they ventured deeper into the room of shadows, the air shimmered with possibility, each step revealing another fragment of a story long hidden. Laughter, sorrow, mystery, and love intertwined in delicate patterns, guiding them toward truths that were at once terrifying and beautiful. And somewhere, just beyond the edge of perception, a new shadow stirred, one that promised revelations far beyond what either of them could have imagined, a shadow that would test not only their courage but the bond between them. For in this room, and in each shadow, Amelia and Clara would discover not just the secrets of the past, but the potential for a future neither had dared to dream. The deeper Amelia and Clara ventured into the room of shadows, the more the air thickened with a strange, electric tension. The floating fragments of memory dimmed, as though retreating from whatever lay ahead. Even Amelia, who usually masked her fear with humor, found herself gripping Clara's hand more tightly than she intended. Not that I'm scared or anything, Amelia muttered, her voice trembling slightly. But if something jumps out, just know that I'll scream first, then fight later. Clara smirked despite the atmosphere. Good to know you have a strategy. They rounded a corner and froze. Standing in the center of the path was a figure cloaked in black, their face hidden beneath a hood. The shadows clung to them unnaturally, as if even the light feared to draw too close. Amelia's grip tightened on Clara. Okay, so, new plan. You scream first, I'll run. The hooded figure tilted their head, and a low, almost musical voice echoed through the chamber. You've gone too far. Clara's posture stiffened, protective instinct radiating from her. Who are you? The figure didn't answer immediately. Instead, they raised a hand, and one of the floating shadows flickered to life beside them. It was an image of Clara again, older, wearier, her eyes full of pain. Beside her stood Amelia, but her face was obscured in darkness. Amelia's stomach dropped. That's me, isn't it? The stranger nodded slowly. The path you walk is dangerous. The key you hold will open more than just doors, it will open wounds that should remain sealed. Clara stepped forward, her voice steady. We're not turning back. Whatever danger lies ahead, we'll face it. The stranger's laugh was soft, almost sorrowful. You think courage is enough, love may bind you now, but shadows test even the brightest flames. Amelia, despite the chill crawling up her spine, crossed her arms. Well, joke's on you, because I don't even know if this thing between us counts as love yet. Do we need to define it? Should we sit down and make it official, Clara? Clara gave her a look, half exasperation, half fondness that almost broke the tension. Amelia. What I'm just saying, if this shadow person is going to ruin our lives, they should at least get the relationship status right. The stranger's hood shifted slightly, as if they were amused despite themselves. But their voice grew sharper. Mockery will not protect you. Every step you take draws you closer to the truth, and the truth demands a price. Amelia's bravado faltered. What kind of price? The stranger's gaze seemed to pierce straight through them. Sacrifice. One of you will have to lose what you hold most dear. The words echoed through the chamber, heavy and undeniable. Clara's hand slipped into Amelia's again, squeezing tightly. We'll face it, Clara said firmly. Together. For a long moment, the stranger was silent. Then they raised their hand again, and the shadow of Clara and Amelia dissolved into nothingness. Very well, the stranger said. The choice will come sooner than you expect. Be ready. And just like that, the figure vanished, leaving behind only the faint echo of their words and the chilling stillness of the chamber. Amelia exhaled shakily, trying to lighten the mood. Okay, so. I don't know about you, but I'm really starting to miss the part of this adventure where we just flirted and made sarcastic comments. Clara smiled faintly, though worry lingered in her eyes. Me too. But now we know the stakes. Amelia studied her, noticing the way Clara's jaw tightened, the way her usually steady composure wavered ever so slightly. Without thinking, Amelia reached up and brushed a strand of hair from Clara's face. Hey! We'll get through this. I don't care what the shadows say. We're stronger than them. Clara's lips parted as if to respond, but instead she leaned closer, her forehead resting lightly against Amelia's. It wasn't a kiss, not quite, but it was a promise. A fragile, unspoken vow. Then let us keep moving, Clara whispered. Before the shadows changed their minds. Together, they stepped forward, deeper into the unknown. And though Amelia's heart pounded with fear, it also carried something steadier, stronger, an ember of hope that no warning could extinguish. Because no matter what the stranger had said, Amelia wasn't about to let go. Not now. Not ever. The chamber eventually narrowed into a winding corridor, the golden glow dimming into soft silver. The air smelled faintly of salt, as if the sea itself had seeped through the cracks of the underground walls. Amelia wrinkled her nose. Is it just me, or does it smell like someone spilled fish soup in here? She whispered. Clara shot her an amused look. It's the sea. This place is closer to the shoreline than you realize. Right, Amelia muttered. So basically we're walking through a glorified clam shack. Fantastic. Despite her jokes, unease prickled at her skin. The stranger's warning still clung to her thoughts like cobwebs. Sacrifice. Lose what you hold most dear. She kept glancing at Clara, wondering if Clara was thinking the same thing or if Clara already knew more than she let on. The corridor ended in a circular room with a pedestal at its center. Upon it rested a small, ornate key, glowing faintly with a bluish light. The air around it shimmered, alive with quiet energy. Amelia blinked. Well, that looks suspiciously important. Clara approached slowly, her steps careful. This must be it. The second key. Amelia tilted her head. You say that like it's the Holy Grail. Should I start humming dramatic music? Clara gave her a side glance, but there was a faint smile tugging at her lips. Please don't. Amelia grinned, relieved to have earned even the tiniest smile. But as Clara reached toward the pedestal, a ripple of energy spread through the chamber, making the air vibrate. The shadows along the walls shifted, pulling themselves into recognizable forms, figures of people, faces from the past. Amelia's breath caught as she recognized one of them. A tall man with sharp features and eyes so like Clara's it was unmistakable. "That's your father, isn't it?" Clara's hand froze inches from the key. Her expression hardened, but her voice trembled ever so slightly. "Yes." Or, a memory of him. The shadow Clara's father stepped forward, his voice a ghostly echo. "Clara, you should not be here." Amelia instinctively moved closer, as if shielding Clara. Oh great, another ominous lecture from a shadow. "Can't we just grab the key and go?" But Clara's eyes stayed fixed on the figure. Why shouldn't I be here?" "Because the truth will destroy you," the shadow said, his eyes glinting with sorrow. "And her?" His gaze flicked toward Amelia. Amelia swallowed hard. "Okay, first of all, rude. Second, can we stop with the cryptic one-liners just once? I'd like someone to give us a straight answer." The shadow ignored her. "Every key you find brings you closer to the chain. And the chain, once whole, cannot be broken without a cost." Clara's voice was steady now, though her hand trembled. "I don't care about the cost. We need to know the truth." The shadow studied her for a long moment, then slowly nodded. "Then take it. But know this, what binds you together may also be what tears you apart." The figure dissolved into mist, leaving silence in its wake. Clara closed her eyes briefly, then reached out and took the key. The chamber brightened for a moment, the bluish light sinking into her palm before fading away. The key was gone, but Amelia knew it hadn't disappeared. Clara carried it now, within her. "Well," Amelia said, breaking the silence, "that wasn't ominous at all. Nope. Totally normal. Nothing to worry about." Clara turned to her, lips curving into a tired but genuine smile. "You always know how to make things sound less terrifying." Amelia shrugged. "It's my gift. That, and making inappropriate jokes at the worst possible time." For a moment, the heaviness of the chamber lifted. They stood close, breaths mingling in the still air, and Amelia felt the pull between them stronger than ever. She wanted to say something, anything that would bridge the distance between fear and longing. But the words tangled in her throat. Instead, she reached for Clara's hand, fingers brushing tentatively before lacing together. "Whatever happens, I'm not letting go. Not now, not when it matters most." Clara squeezed back, her eyes shining with something Amelia couldn't quite name: love, fear, hope, maybe all three. "Then neither will I." A rumble shook the ground beneath them, cutting off the fragile moment. The shadows on the walls began to writhe violently, twisting into darker shapes. Amelia groaned. "Of course. Can't even have one romantic moment without the apocalypse showing up." Clara pulled her toward the corridor. "Come on. The chamber won't hold for long." As they ran, the shadows reached out like claws, grasping at their clothes, their hair, their very breath. But together, hand in hand, they pushed through, bursting back into the winding corridor just as the chamber collapsed behind them. The echo of falling stone faded, leaving only the sound of their ragged breaths. Amelia leaned against the wall, still gripping Clara's hand. "So, we survived. Again. You know, we're getting really good at this." Clara laughed softly, though there was a weariness in her eyes. "Too good, maybe." Amelia studied her, sensing the weight Clara carried: the warnings, the shadows, the cost they had yet to face. But Amelia refused to let fear win. Not when they still had each other. "Hey," she said, nudging Clara gently. No matter what keys, chains, or creepy shadow relatives show up, we'll figure it out. Together. Clara looked at her, really looked at her, and the faint smile returned. Together. And though the path ahead was darker than ever, Amelia felt a spark of certainty. Whatever sacrifice the shadows demanded, whatever truths lay waiting, she wouldn't let Clara face them alone. Not now. Not ever. The tunnel spat them out into a cavern lit by 100 crystalline shards jutting from the walls. Each shard glowed with its own light blue, green, gold, casting fractured beams across the space like a shattered rainbow. The place was beautiful, breathtaking, and deeply unsettling. Amelia let out a low whistle. Okay, wow. Whoever designed this place really said, "Let us blind the intruders with glitter." Clara glanced around warily. It's not just for a show. These crystals are conduits. They hold fragments of memories. Memories. Amelia raised an eyebrow. Like embarrassing middle school diary entries, or actual world-shaking secrets? Clara gave her a look. Both, probably. They stepped forward cautiously. The light shifted with every movement, scattering their shadows into dozens of broken shapes that danced along the walls. Amelia tried not to think about how one of her shadows looked taller, sharper, less human. Then the crystals began to hum. A low vibration filled the cavern, and images flickered within the shards, snippets of voices, blurred faces, moments suspended in time. Amelia froze. One shard showed a girl with bright eyes and a mischievous grin, laughing as she tugged someone's hand. Her own younger self. Oh no, Amelia muttered. This is my personal hell. A rerun of my teenage years. Clara paused beside another shard, her breath catching. Inside, a younger Clara was arguing with an older man, her father again. His expression was cold, his voice inaudible, but the tension was unmistakable. Clara touched the surface of the shard, and for a moment, her younger self pressed back against the glass, as if trapped inside. Amelia's joking mood faltered. Clara, hey! You okay? Clara pulled her hand away, her expression carefully composed. These crystals, they're testing us. Showing us what we carry. What we fear. Great, Amelia muttered. Because what I really wanted today was a guided tour of my unresolved trauma. Still, she couldn't look away. Every crystal seemed to tug at her, whispering secrets, regrets, half-forgotten feelings. One shard even showed her standing close to Clara, eyes full of something she hadn't yet admitted aloud. The sight made her heart stumble. The cavern trembled suddenly, and the humming grew sharper, almost angry. A crystal cracked, spilling shards of light across the floor. Clara's eyes widened. The key's presence is destabilizing this place. We have to move quickly. They hurried deeper into the cavern, weaving between glowing pillars of memory. The hum became a chorus of voices shouting, laughing, crying until it felt like the past itself was screaming at them. Amelia clutched her head. Okay, I officially hate this. Do you hear them too? Yes, Clara said tightly, her voice almost drowned by the noise. They want to break us apart. To fracture us. Not happening, Amelia snapped. She grabbed Clara's hand again, gripping it so tightly her knuckles ached. If they think they can scare me away, they're out of luck. I'm annoyingly stubborn. Through the chaos, they reached the heart of the cavern. A massive crystal rose from the floor, taller than both of them combined, glowing with a blinding white light. Embedded in its center was an image that shifted every second, sometimes Clara, sometimes Amelia, sometimes the two of them standing together, bound by a chain of light. Amelia's mouth went dry. Well, that's not creepy at all. Clara stepped closer, her expression grave. This is the fracture point. The place where the truth begins to bleed through. The crystal pulsed, and the image of the two of them solidified, hands intertwined, but cracks splitting across the chain that bound them. A voice rang out, deeper than thunder, yet eerily familiar. Choose. Amelia nearly choked. Choose what? We don't even have a menu. The voice ignored her. One path binds. One path breaks. To move forward, one must give. Clara stiffened. It's asking for a sacrifice. Amelia's heart lurched. No. Absolutely not. We've already had enough creepy warnings about that. We're not playing by their rules. But Clara's gaze didn't waver from the crystal. Amelia, what if this is the only way? Panic surged in Amelia's chest. No. Don't you dare. Don't you dare even think about sacrificing yourself. We're in this together. You hear me? The crystal flared, and the chain in the image shattered with a violent crack. Light exploded, knocking them both back. The cavern shook as if it were collapsing, but when the dust cleared, the massive crystal had split into two jagged halves. In the rubble lay another object, a pendant shaped like a half-circle, glowing faintly. Clara picked it up, her hands trembling. This isn't just another key, she whispered. It's a fragment of the chain itself. Amelia pushed herself to her feet, brushing dust from her hair. Fantastic. So now we're collecting jewelry too. Do we get matching earrings at the end of this? Clara gave her a weary, but genuine, smile. Maybe. Despite the chaos, despite the warnings, they stood side by side, pendant in hand, the light from the fractured crystal bathing them in a glow that felt equal parts hope and dread. Amelia glanced at Clara, determination burning in her chest. Whatever sacrifice this place thinks it can force out of us, it's wrong. I'm not letting go. Not of this. Not of you. Clara's eyes softened. She reached out, brushing Amelia's hand with her fingers, lingering just a little longer than necessary. Then neither am I. The cavern quieted, as if acknowledging their vow. But beneath the silence, the fractures in the light still glowed, cracks that hinted at a truth waiting to break free. And Amelia knew, the worst was yet to come. The storm had returned. Not outside, the storm was inside. The fractured cavern twisted into a spiraling corridor of shadows and light. The ground trembled beneath their feet, shards of broken crystals floating in the air like fragments of shattered stars. Amelia and Clara ran, the pendant clutched tightly in Clara's hand. Each step forward felt like running against a tide that wanted to pull them back. This place is collapsing. Amelia shouted. Do we even know where we're going? Clara, breathless but steady, shook her head. No. But the path is revealing itself. Sure enough, beams of light cut across the chaos, forming a jagged trail ahead. They followed, stumbling, dodging falling debris, until they burst into a chamber that seemed untouched by the destruction. The silence there was deafening. In the center stood a figure cloaked in shadows, their face obscured, their body almost fluid in the way it shifted with the darkness. But their voice was unmistakable, it was the same that had echoed through the crystal. You've come far, the figure intoned. But you are not yet free. The chain binds you still. Amelia groaned. Seriously, another dramatic speech, can we get a short version? The figure ignored her sarcasm. One carries guilt. One carries fear. Both cannot move forward as they are. The chain demands truth or it will consume you. Clara stepped forward, chin raised. Enough riddles. What do you want from us? The shadowy figure lifted a hand, and the air between them shimmered. A vision appeared, Clara kneeling before her father, head bowed, chains on her wrists. And beside her Amelia, standing apart, watching but unable to reach. Clara's breath caught. Amelia's stomach turned cold. The figure's voice deepened. One must let go. Or both shall fall. Amelia snapped. No, I don't care what game you're playing. I'm not letting her go. Not now, not ever. The shadow tilted its head. Then prove it. The vision dissolved, and suddenly the ground beneath Clara split open. She dropped with a startled cry, a chasm yawning beneath her feet. Instinctively, Amelia lunged forward, catching her wrist just as she began to fall. The abyss below wasn't just darkness, it pulsed with jagged shards of memory. Voices screamed up at them, Clara's father's harsh words, Amelia's own laughter twisting into cruelty, images of them betraying one another, lies, fears, distortions. Clara dangled over it, struggling. Amelia! Let me go. If you fall too, it'll be over for both of us. Amelia's grip tightened, furious. Do you even hear yourself? The title of this whole adventure is Never Let Me Go. You think I'm gonna drop you now? Not happening. Clara stared up at her, eyes wide, torn between fear and something else, something softer. The figure's voice echoed around them. She will drag you down. Release her, and you may live. Amelia bared her teeth. Listen, you creepy shadow narrator, I've had enough. You want truth? Here's mine. I don't care about your stupid chain, or your sacrifices, or your doom and gloom prophecies. Clara matters to me. More than the danger, more than the fear, more than anything. I'd rather fall with her than live without her. Her voice cracked at the end, but the words rang with raw honesty. Clara's breath hitched. For a moment, everything, the abyss, the shadow, the chaos, fell silent. She whispered, Amelia. And then Clara reached upward, her free hand clasping Amelia's with desperate strength. Then we don't fall. Not together. Not today. Light exploded from their joined hands, blinding and warm. The pendant in Clara's grip flared, the broken half-circle completing itself in a burst of radiance. The shattered chain reformed not as a binding prison, but as a luminous thread that wrapped around them both like a promise. The abyss closed, the screams fading into silence. The shadow figure staggered, its form unraveling. This is not the end, it hissed, before dissolving into nothingness. The cavern settled. The shards of crystal lowered gently to the ground. For the first time, everything was still. Amelia and Clara collapsed side by side, breathing hard, still holding on to one another. For a long moment, neither spoke. Finally, Amelia let out a shaky laugh. Well, that was horrifying. 10 out of 10 would not recommend. Clara chuckled weakly, tears still glistening in her eyes. You're impossible. Amelia turned to her, serious now. No, I'm stubborn. And completely, irreversibly. She hesitated, the words trembling at the edge of her lips. In love with you. Clara froze. The silence stretched. Amelia's heart pounded, terrified she'd ruined everything. But then Clara smiled, soft, luminous, more beautiful than any crystal they had seen. She leaned in, pressing her forehead against Amelia's. I know. Because I feel the same. The weight of the world seemed to lift. Amelia let out a breathless laugh, half in relief, half in disbelief. Wow! Took us long enough, hey? Clara smirked gently. Better late than never. They sat there, wrapped in light and exhaustion and something that felt terrifyingly like hope. Above them, the last fragments of the shattered cavern dissolved into a clear sky, stars glittering where once there had only been darkness. Amelia squeezed Clara's hand. So, what now? Do we go back to the real world? Do we get answers about your family, about all of this? Clara gazed up at the stars, her expression unreadable but calm. I don't know. But whatever comes, we face it together. Amelia grinned, leaning against her. Perfect answer. Because guess what? She squeezed Clara's hand again, firm and unyielding. I'm never letting you go. The light swelled around them, and the world shifted. Whether they were leaving the cavern or stepping into something new, Amelia couldn't tell. But it didn't matter. Because for the first time, she wasn't afraid.